Hello everyone, today we're looking at one of these. Now to most people this probably doesn't look like much actually, but this is in fact one of Mercury one-to-one's one of the very few phones that they had back in the day when they launched around about mid 90s, mid to late 90s. This is an AEG M150. This is another one of these phones, like I said, that most of y'all probably haven't seen before, but it is legendary in its own right because at the time there was only 3 different phones that Mercury one-to-one offered to their customers. They had this one, they had obviously had the M300, which is what this is, and this is legendary as well because this was the very first GSM1800 phone that was ever made. This basically opened the floodgates to most cellular providers now. In fact, if it wasn't for this particular phone, all the cell phone providers outside of the Americas would have run out of capacity because GSM900 basically is only a finite number amount of channels available, and if obviously all the channels are used up on a local cell tower, then if you're trying to dial, you're gonna not be able to get through. So by taking some of the calls onto GSM 1800, which is a higher frequency, they had a lot more capacity and a whole bunch of airspace that they could use. And this phone was the very first one that utilized that kind of technology. This is, of course, long before 3G and 4G and LTE that we have nowadays. But this was I think it was 93, 94 these came out, the very first M300s. They quickly changed them up to M301s, and they're the more modern version of this. But these still can be used to this day. I will do a video about this at a later stage. I do actually have a boxed one as well. But today we are looking at one of these. This together with the M300 and also this Super Air Siemens, which probably not many people have seen, was Mercury one-to-one's offering at the time. It's got the old logo as well. If you guys don't know, Mercury one-to-one was a UK cellular provider way back in the day. I think they launched like 1993. I think they launched late 93. Certainly Orange launched 1994. And Mercury one-to-one were already in existence when Orange launched. But of course nowadays, what was Mercury one-to-one and Orange have now joined together, and that's Everything Everywhere, or EE as they like to call themselves. But so yeah, this phone was not very popular because it was very expensive. That one was even more expensive to buy. So a lot of people just went with the Motorola's. But unfortunately, I don't actually have a working Mercury one-to-one SIM to hand for this. I did dig out my old ones. These are all, well, this particular one was my personal one. And this is the number I had back in the day. But this is long obviously been deactivated, and probably the number's been reused. Someone else may have it, and I don't know the pin to this either. The more modern Mercury one-to-ones with the newer logo like this, well, the newer, the logo that came out after this. This was their first logo, their very early logo, and then obviously they switched up to this one here. Basically the pop ads were the more modern ones, but the original ones all were like this in credit card size SIM, and all the old phones took this card size of SIM, including this phone. I'll quickly show you that. I'm going to plug the charger real quick and throw this in. Now this phone is a little fragile, partly because it's really old and partly because I don't rate the build quality. Despite the fact it is actually an AEG and it's German, the batteries came undone. Similar to actually the Siemens ones as well. That is a Siemens. This is an AEG. It doesn't say AEG on the end. Actually, yeah, it does. There we go. Will that focus? Not even sure if it will. Will it focus? Hopefully it will. There we go. AEG Mobile Communications GmbH. So this was made by AEG. So the SIM card basically face down, slotted in like so. If I'm doing this right, there we go. And the battery, obviously, they had a little nudge just there. I don't know if you can see that, but that pushed the chip onto the contacts. The card slots in like so, and then you do the battery up, and then I need to plug the charger back in because this baby will not power on otherwise. Now, it does say Mercury on there, or it did do, just I don't know if you caught a glimpse of that, but I'm not sure I have the pin for this card. It says insert card, so the SIM card's obviously duff. It's probably not the right SIM for this phone or whatever, but it's obviously not reading it, which is a shame because I would like to show you the menu on this, but unfortunately I can't. And obviously if you put another SIM card in, it'll just ask for an unlock code. So unfortunately it is actually still holding a charge, believe it or not, after all this time. Unfortunately I can't show you the menu. Now let me just try and wiggle the SIM. Might just be the contacts are dirty, you never know. You should always try and use a rubber or an eraser or pencil eraser to clean these contacts if you guys don't know that. Let me try that again just to see if it's made any difference. Occasionally you do get static buildup on the contacts, and it does take a little bit of rubbing to get rid of that, dissipate the static, and sometimes you might be in luck. So it says Mercury there, but that's just when you power it on. It still says insert card, so I can't really show you the menu, unfortunately. It was a real shame because, like I said, not many people have probably seen these, and it's one of these rare phones that you probably don't see very often. Got a stubby antenna. Not sure if this comes undone actually. I don't think it does. A couple of volume buttons there, and that's all I can tell you really. Big mic hole down there, and that's about it. The charger for this is sizable. The charger is a big transformer, sort of that sort of size, and I can't really tell you much more about this. I will try and do an update video about this, so this is going to be a really short video, but that's all I can say, unfortunately. Real neat phones these, if you do find one. The AEG did this in a plethora of colors. They did limited edition ones for the German networks as well. So you might find actually, you know, on eBay Germany or wherever, that you do find one that looks like this, but it's not branded Mercury one-to-one. And that's a more common variant. But the Mercury one-to-ones are fairly rare, because I've only seen probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 maybe half a dozen tops in all my years of collecting, and to get one that powers up with the charger is pretty rare. To get a boxed one, I've never ever seen a boxed one of these, so if you do have a boxed one of these, drop me a comment. I'll be interested in doing a deal with you, because certainly these ones are not common at all. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. I will try and do a video about this one. This is also one of these rare ones, and like you might have noticed that the common theme between these 3 handsets is that Mercury one-to-one made their phones. They branded their own phones, and they changed the model numbers around. So this is an M200. I don't know if you can see that. Will it zoom in? Not sure if it will zoom or focus. Maybe not. Will it focus? There we go. This is an M200. This is an M150, and this is an M300. They did also do the M400, and I don't have one of those to hand. I do have one boxed. I will try and do an unboxing video of that as well. But certainly these ones are quite rare as well. I don't even know if I have a charger for this. Last time I took the battery off, this one, the battery unfortunately collapsed, which you can clearly see there. But this is really brittle. You got to be real careful. And the date on this, the exchange date was 22nd 11/1997. So to give you some sort of idea how old these are. These are almost 20 years old. Well, the model is 20 years old. This particular one is from 97. So I will try and do a video about this. I'll try and find the charger if I do have one. I don't remember if I do or don't. My list doesn't tell me, but well worth having a look at next time. That's all I can say about this particular one. Check it out. I know a lot of people have mentioned mobilecollectors.net. I am aware that the site exists and I am registered, but I just have not had the time to put all my, to photo all my phones and put any sort of valuable information on that site. I do appreciate the guy who runs it. He wants obviously a lot of info, but I'm sorry, I just don't have the time at the moment. It is something that I want to do. Likewise, getting a test set to fire some of these old phones up, that's also on my roadmap, but I just haven't had the time, unfortunately. So when the time comes and I've got a bit more time in terms of work, I will try and do both of those things. But thanks everybody for your support and all the questions recently. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.